Imagine a life where your every decision feels like it's driven by a force greater than your own desires, where your actions align with something truly meaningful, something beyond the daily grind, a life where you're not just reacting to the world around you, but actively shaping your existence with a sense of purpose and clarity. That's the power of understanding and harnessing true will, a concept that might just change how you view your life and your potential. I'm Roach, Mark Roach. Welcome to Transcendent, my YouTube channel about a perspective that I formed from a journey around the world, through life, crossing a wide spectrum of human experience from high to low, well, as most people in American society define them. This channel is all about inspiring common people to find their power. Let's dive into the heart of what will actually means. It's not just in its everyday use, but in a deeper, more profound sense. Will, as we commonly understand it, is often confused with the mere act of deciding or choosing. However, in the context of personal growth and spiritual development, will transcends these simple definitions. It becomes about aligning ourselves with influences that are higher, more refined, and ultimately more in tune with the essence of our being. The concept of will is intricately linked with the idea of the ray of creation, a model from an esoteric teaching that suggests there are different levels of influences or forces at play in the universe. Think of it like this. There's these different frequencies, like radio frequencies. Each level has its own kind of music, or in this case, its own kind of influence on our lives. At the highest level, the will of the absolute, or what some might call the divine will, that doesn't reach us directly here on earth. Instead, it filters through various layers of mechanical laws and forces, much like the sunlight passing through a prism to create a spectrum of colors. So what does this mean for us? Well, it means to truly act with will, we must strive to connect with these higher influences, not just live according to our immediate, often selfish desires. This is where the idea of work comes in. This is a term used in esoteric teachings for the continuous efforts we make to change ourselves. By working on ourselves, by observing our habits, by observing our reactions, by observing our automatic behaviors, how we're acting like robots or like everyone else around us in our groups and our fraternities and sororities and professions even. Not to diminish any of those for our needs to survive, but by discerning these finer influences, we start to feel them. And it can be like tuning into a different radio station, one that's less about the noise of daily life, less about fitting in and more in harmony with an understanding that is growing inside of us. Non-identifying, a concept from this work, means not being swept away by our every emotion or thought that comes our way. Imagine you're at a busy marketplace. If you identify with every shout or every offer that the vendors are shouting, then you'll be lost in the chaos. But what if you can observe from a place of stillness what you choose to engage with? This detachment allows you to connect with higher will, which doesn't come from self-interest, but from a place of broader, more inclusive understanding. Self-love, as we typically practice it, often leads to what's called self-will, where our decisions are made for our own benefit, often at the expense or in competition with others and against our deeper values. This can be confusing, but true will, however, is about recognizing that there's something more, something beyond our immediate self-interest. It's about seeing life not just from the ground level, but from a higher vantage point where you can appreciate the interconnectedness of all things. In practice, in practical terms, this involves making small but significant changes in how we live our lives. For instance, like setting an aim, like maintaining a calm demeanor during stressful times. This isn't just about control. It's about aligning with higher purpose. When we do this, we're not just avoiding negative behaviors. We're inviting a new quality of life, one where we're more aware, more considerate, and more purposeful. The journey towards understanding and embodying this kind of will isn't about becoming less, but about becoming more aware, more compassionate, more free, more aligned with the essence of life itself. It's a shift from the external materialistic pursuits to an internal quest for meaning and connection. This is where the metaphor of schools comes into play. Moving from the primary school of one's life's basic lessons to the secondary school, where we learn about the more complex, interconnected nature of existence. Each level of influence in the ray of creation can be seen as a different school of learning. With the solar school being the highest that we can aspire to here on earth, teaching us about harmony, teaching us about wisdom, teaching us about true will. To cultivate this will, this true will, we must be sincere with ourselves. This isn't about pretending to be something we're not, but about genuinely trying to understand and to change our inner landscape. This sincerity is like the sunlight needed for growth. Without it, all efforts are superficial. So in conclusion, developing real will is not about exerting control over external circumstances, but about transforming our inner selves to resonate with higher influences. It's about being less driven by the ego and more by a sense of universal connection and purpose. It's a challenging path, but one that leads us to a richer, more meaningful life. Here's a quick summary of the video. Understanding will. Will is not just about making decisions, but about aligning with higher universal influences. Ray of creation. This concept explains how higher influences reach us through layers of force, suggesting we can tune into these for a more meaningful, purposeful life. Non-identifying. By not automatically reacting to every emotion or event, we open ourselves to higher will. Self-love versus true will. Moving from self-interest to broader, more inclusive aims is crucial for true will. Practical application, setting small, meaningful aims can help in aligning daily actions with higher will. Sincerity. Genuine self-observation and change are fundamental to connecting with true will. Levels of influence, like schools, where each level offers different lessons, with the highest level promoting harmony and wisdom. I'm Mark Roach, wishing you all the best.